On today's episode of the CLS Experience, we have a very exclusive treat. She is a mother, pastor, entrepreneur, mentor, motivational speaker, entertainer, and best-selling author, just to name a few. She travels the world, fulfilling her passion and purpose of loving people back to life, something that connects deeply with me as well. Big facts. She is using her influence to mentor people all over the world through her mentorship program, RTK Inner Circle, and she's an advocate for Give Culture Foundation for Impact, a nonprofit organization that teaches mindfulness and generosity to the next generation of leaders, which I absolutely love. Her ability to be a testament of God's redemption plan in action is beautifully showcased as she is a bright light in this world. She's just a juggernaut in all facets of life and a terrific mother. Please welcome the enlightened, influential, and energetic, the empowering and abundant Real Talk Kim. How you doing, Kim?
Craig, I'm so excited to be here with you, man. So pumped.
Me too. We've been trying to get this going for a while, and we're both super busy. We just launched the book. Now you are.
I'm so excited I got your book, Craig.
Thank you. Thank you so
I
much.
love it. I
Yeah,
got it in the mail.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We just hit Wall Street Journal bestseller, which is pretty cool. One thing I didn't know that you're probably experiencing right now is, because it was our first book, launching a book is like a
Yeah.
full-time job in itself. It's almost like writing the book is the easy part.
It is absolutely the easy part. It is that grueling, all the interviews, pushing the book, because we're in a world now where a lot of people don't read books.
True.
They listen to podcasts, they do audios. And so for you to be hitting that bestseller, you
Yeah.
should definitely be giving yourself at least 20 high fives a day.
Thank you. I appreciate
So
that.
proud of you.
Thank you. And you're doing your thing right now. And I got to be honest, like for our listeners, we're about 6 million now. If you guys were not familiar with Kim by any chance, do a deep dive, play catch up, check out all the unbelievable content, all the stuff she has going on, grab her book, everything. What I think's most valuable today is we just have an unbelievable conversation. But before we
Let's
dive
do
in,
it.
we're going to get a little weird. You ready for me?
I'm ready for you.
Kim,
Let's go.
What is your superpower?
My superpower is getting back up again. Nothing holds me back. Like, absolutely. I feel like as long as I ain't dead, God ain't done. And I literally feel like that thieves don't rob empty vaults. So I feel like my superpower is I'm always going to rise and I'm always going to bounce back about 15 levels.
Unbelievable, straight up. And spoiler alert for everyone listening, adversity, obstacles, challenges, it's a part of life, right?
Yes.
And usually pain is the portal. It's when you're going through that if you could stay in the fight, if you could look up, you can get up. That's usually where the big breakthrough and the growth
Yes. That is a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact. It looks like our books are kind of the same, like on the same wavelength, like I think in this world, because we've just walked through that pandemic and people decided they didn't like each other if they'd been married 20 years because they had to stay in the house with each other for 2 years. And we lost loved ones in hospitals by themselves. I think that we're experiencing in the world a lot of people that are stuck.
Yeah.
And our books are helping them realize that ain't nobody coming to get them. They got to get up and see that their best is yet to come, man.
Bang. It's unbelievable. You're speaking in my language. I knew we were going to hit it off, but this is great. Of course, I want to dive in about the book and so forth. But I want to ask a couple quick questions right out the gate. I was checking out your content, which I highly suggest everybody do immediately following this episode.
Thank you, Craig.
Absolutely. And some of the things you talk about just resonate with me so deeply. And I know for a fact it will do the same for the listeners. And one thing that I saw you say recently was that champions aren't born, they're built. They grind, push, and turn defeat into a stepping stone. Can you tell us exactly what you mean by that?
Man, your hustle has to be on fleek. You got to get up every day and realize that you cannot focus on what you've lost. Rejection, that person walking out of your life, rejection was necessary because that person's character couldn't keep up with your purpose. And so you got to realize that everything that's happening for you before you has to take your movement, which means even if your leg feels like a turtle stuck in peanut butter, you got to pull it, but you got to keep going. You got to stay focused on how far you've gone and not how far you got to go. It's just keeping that mind straight and every day realizing I ain't a quitter. I ain't quitting. The harder I fall, the higher I bounce. If I go to hell, I'm coming out on fire. Like it is literally saying, ain't nobody gonna keep me back. You hear me? Ain't nobody. And that's how champions are built.
I gotta write that down. That was unbelievable. And I
That's how champions are built.
never
You know,
stopped so to write something down.
you just can't. You can't let nothing hold you back. You got to realize that before you were ever even formed in your mother's womb, life was already being formed. And this is exactly where you're supposed to be in life, or you wouldn't be here. Every mistake you've made, every bad choice you've made, all of it is part of your story. And everybody's got a story. Yours is just going to be a bestseller because you made it through some stuff that would have killed other people.
You're on fire. I'm so happy I asked you that. And
Yeah.
it's like, look, when you're going through it, whatever it is for someone, it's a little bit easier said than done. But if you're listening to what she's saying and you just have that mindset that this is happening for me, not to me, I don't know exactly
So good,
why
Craig.
now, but sooner or later I'll be able to connect the dots looking backwards, like Steve Jobs said. Then it helps it when you're going through it to kind of put your shoulder down and just plow through, because you know the good stuff is on the other side.
So good, Craig. So good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is unbelievable. I want to ask you one more fun one, and then we'll dive in about the book. I saw you also say this, and I think I know what you mean, but I'm not 100% sure. And I think this is going to be pretty cool for you to illustrate. And that's that it takes a season to get ready for that next level.
It's that hell. It's that I cannot even believe I'm here. Like whether it is a divorce after 38 years or getting a bad doctor's diagnosis or just a place you could have never fathomed. This is the season that's preparing you for next. What you're going through right now is free life college and you ain't got one student loan to pay back. Like you are getting so much. I'm talking, you got stuff to talk about now. You got the wit, you got the champion bloodline now, because what should have killed you only made you stronger. That's what I'm talking about. This season that you're in right now is literally getting you to a place of elevation. Without this broken season, it's almost like a disco ball. That disco ball, you can put it in a huge auditorium, one little disco ball, and you put that thing in there and shine one light on it. And it creates the most beautiful mosaic masterpiece of lighting. Why? Because it's been broken a million times. So you got to be broken in a season. You got to hit rough times in order to really find out what you're made of. That thing that separates you. Whatever you're going through today, whatever it is, it's separating you from the little boys, from the little girls to the bosses.
Yeah.
You a boss.
This is priceless. I know to an extent you're human, like me, as far as I know. When you do have those moments, like for example, we're really extending our reach and we're blowing up. And even just today, I saw a hater come out. And
Yes.
for a second, it bothered me. But the key there is it was a moment, whereas the old Craig probably would have ruined my day. Like, why would somebody trying to hate on something that's doing all this good? But then I realized, first of all, I'm going to use it as content and
Yep.
hurt people hurt people. That's just one example. But when you have a moment, like, what do you do to kind of snap out of it and make sure it's just a moment and not maybe a day?
I got 3-second rule. I got a 3-second rule. And whatever you say to me, if I allow what you've done or said to me get inside of me, I become just like you. And so I literally have a blue chair in my head with white stripes and it's sitting on the beach and destined. I ain't never said in the natural, but I go escape to it whenever I'm finding myself getting pulled to the haters. Like all of a sudden they saying some ugly stuff about me. I'm like over there now. I am escaped to that chair in my head and I am going to chill for a second to let my brain chill out and realize that I can't be moved unless I let somebody move me. I ain't got to RSVP to every argument I'm invited to. And so I just breathe and imagine myself on that beach for about a 2-second break. And I also realized that haters are just confused fans. You know, like they're necessary. Those haters are necessary. You know, they're necessary to elevate us. They're necessary to talk about us in a group of people so that other people find out about us.
That's so
They're
good.
free PR.
Free PR. Well, wait, haters are confused fans. And then what
Yeah.
did you say before that about not having to RSVP to every argument?
I don't have to RSVP to every argument. It is my prerogative to tell you no, and no is the complete sentence. And I used to, Craig, I used to write out because listen, I'm still a little ratchet and righteous, okay, a little hood and holy. And I would be like, I'd be just ready to clap back, and then I'd go delete. It's just not even worth it. I believe that elevation requires separation. And so God just kind of allows those people to hate on you, so you know who not to take with you to the next level. You gotta outgrow the little people, and the people that are booing you are in the cheap seats.
The cheap seats. Nobody that's actually winning or making an impact would take the time.
No, Craig.
No. Period. End story.
No.
I love it. I have to ask you one more before we dive in the book, just because I thought it was so awesome. And I'd never seen you articulate this. And you wrote that the real flex is that you didn't flex.
You know,
so
listen,
good.
hey, I walked through a divorce, and I'm kind of in the public eye on social media, and I'm a pastor. So it was like, you get divorced, you're going to hell on a slip and slide. You know, it's like, and I am the only one in my family that couldn't keep a man. And that's how I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going through a divorce after 18 years. And I wanted so bad. I remember seeing all these people, because people will, when they are determined to misunderstand you, or when they just don't like you, and it's okay if people don't like you, you don't even like everybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It is necessary for you to allow yourself to not take things personal. Things are just not personal. And so in that whole season of my divorce, I remember one night I was just crying. I was like, because I'm dramatic. I know that shocks everybody. I'm like, and I'm like, God, because, you know, I'm a preacher's kid. So we just prayed about everything. I was like, God, take this pain away. And it was like something sat on me, Craig. It was like, girl, bye. You know, I can't take this pain away. You got to get up and walk away from it. And so the real flex is when you realize that anybody that walked out of your life, or anybody that said anything ugly about you, is not connected to your destiny. Because if they were, they would come in and push you to breakthroughs and not breakdowns. And so the real flex is you ain't got to flex at all. Your life and your fruit will outlive every lie ever spoken about you. You stay focused, and you watch your name be in billboards because you kept your head up and you didn't get petty Crocker or petty Patrick. You stayed focused. That's the real flex, is letting your fruit outlive lies.
This is unbelievable. Straight up. Petty Crocker.
Thank you, Craig. Petty Crocker and petty Patrick and hater Helen.
Hater Helen. Oh my goodness.
Greg, I got so many names.
That's unbelievable. In regards to some of the stuff in the book, it's fantastic. One of the reasons why I think your book is so special is because it's not niche. It's for anybody, right?
Yeah, it is for anybody.
And get up. And one of the really important things that you talk about is, how can we break free from the habits or potentially toxic relationships that seem to drag us down? And I'd love for you to touch upon that, give someone something tangible they could do.
Yeah. Well, first you have to realize why you keep getting in the same cycles. Like, why do I keep finding the same relationships? Same spirit,
Pattern. Yep.
Same toxic, but with different faces. What is in me that keeps thinking I'm not valuable enough to get the top, the best? So you gotta stop blaming the world. This is where I promise you, y'all, when I didn't even get my life together till I was 40. Y'all hear me? Like, I was still working at Bloomingdale's, making $13 an hour.
Really?
And in the last 11 years, I've literally become the first multimillionaire in my family. Like, I literally took back my life, and there's nobody in my family that gave me anything. This was my hustle got holy. I got focused, and I had to stop and look at myself, and I had to realize that all the common denominators pointed at me. I told the man for 18 years, I don't need no man. And I woke up one day and didn't have one. And I had to get to a place where I realized that, why am I this way? And I began to work on me. So the first step is stop pointing fingers at people and see that 3 more pointing back at you, and realize that you are the CEO of your life. You can demote, you can hire, you can fire anybody at any time because you are a whole grown up. Number two, you got to stop bleeding on people that didn't cut you. You know, the pain may not be your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. Yeah, they might have really done you dirty. Yeah, they might have lied. Yeah, they said they would be your ride or die. They rode out to the sunset whenever you needed them the worst. The worst. You got to stop focusing on what is gone and focus on what is still here. You. All you need is you. You need to become your biggest cheerleader. Go buy yourself a birthday cake and stop talking about ain't nobody ever giving me a birthday cake. Start realizing that you are the top. You are top grade. You are top level. God created you to be fine china. You ain't no paper plate. And then number three is you got to get up one more time. You got to just keep on getting up. You got to stop magnifying your failures. Failure is part of success. Y'all, if you don't fall, then you didn't try. You're going to walk through some things in your life that's going to take your breath away, but you were created to conquer. You were created to come out of this thing as winner. Your family, you know, we are so, especially at my age, I'm 51. At my age, as parents are so big on saying, I would die for my kids, living for your kids. How about breaking generational curses? How about getting up and saying, this is where it stops? I'm not going to walk around worrying. I'm not going to walk around fearing. I'm not going to walk around scared of my future. I'm just going to jump. And God's going to either teach me how to fly or he's going to catch me when I fall. But he ain't going to wreck his reputation on me. Because as long as I'm moving, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Boom.
Goodness, that's where we dropped the mic. We have a couple more minutes left. I mean,
yeah.
When you speak, you do such a great job of communicating because number one, the way you articulate things is awesome. It's beautiful and it's funny and it's captivating.
Thank you.
But your tonality, it's like you're in alignment. You're doing what you should be doing right now. And I'm not surprised to hear that you've had so much success in the last 11 years because I totally reinvented myself too from Wall Street to now. And one thing that I always like to say is it doesn't take time. It just takes alignment.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
I always say it's 1 ounce of obedience.
Yeah.
It'll do more for you than all the therapy and prayer in the world.
Yeah.
It's just do what feels right. I don't know why, Craig, people are so scared. We're so scared of what they're going to think about us if we fail. We won't write that book because what if it don't do good? We won't try out getting back into a relationship because what if it fails? What if it don't? What if it flies? What if you walk into your greatest life and you will if you keep moving.
It's very hard to believe that we technically just met because you're like my soul, like you're my person. I always talk about this because everybody.
I'm going to go stalk you, Craig. I'm going to go find you on social media.
Please do. And I'd love to, we'll exchange numbers after too.
Okay.
One thing that I always talk about, because so many people have an idea or they want to do something or they're not happy, but they start doubling down on, what if it goes wrong? And I encourage everybody, I challenge you, but what if it goes right? What if it all works out? What if you fly like you just, what if you tap into that frequency, see how it goes, try that on.
Well, you know, for a fact, it's going to be better than where you are.
You're already in your worst case scenario.
Right. You hate where you're at. Like people are like, I want to quit. I'm like, then quit. You're gonna prolong the process of getting to where you want to go. Because eventually you're gonna have to get up and move. You're just gonna have to. You're not a tree. You're not stuck because you're not a tree. You're stuck because you stopped moving.
Yeah. So good. And it's funny because one of the things that you speak about in the book is like, you obviously speak to people all over the world. And I know you talk about this. And when I start a speaking engagement, I usually ask whether it's 100 people, 5,000, how many people here know deep down that they're here for something more than they're currently settling for? And literally everybody raises their hand. And I'm empathetic to that because I spent probably 35 years in that frequency before I put it together. But why do you think so many people are unhappy and not really doing anything about it?
Scared.
Of what?
Think people, we are so afraid of people. We are afraid of a free app in our phone, a free Instagram app, TikTok app, We're all trying to, we want retweets, and like being famous on social media is like being rich in Monopoly money. Like you gotta get what's on the inside of you and get moving. You are not happy because you're waiting on your loved ones to support you. You're waiting on other people to put an endorsement on what you feel called to do. Nobody was called to a conference call when you got called to your purpose. And so nobody is going to endorse you. Most of the time, your family's the last person, the last people to support you because they know you win. They remember you potty training. You know, they remember you getting divorced. They remember you being depressed and having mental illness or whatever the reasoning is for why you shouldn't be on Wall Street or why you shouldn't start that $1 million company or why you shouldn't stop working at your job and go risk flying in a better field. So, yeah, people are scared. I really feel that. I feel that people approval is so huge in this world. Wanting people's validation that ain't even valid. Taking constructive criticism from people that ain't never constructed nothing.
Yeah. So good. And yeah. And also, like, if you do lean into something, if it's not the thing, it'll most likely be the thing that leads to the thing.
Oh,
But
Craig,
you'll
that
never
is
know
good.
unless you get in the damn arena.
That is so good, Craig. Like
Yeah.
it's a stepping stone. Like
Mhm.
everything is a part of the plan.
Yeah.
That's why there's never any failures.
Yeah.
That divorce was not a failure. That person that says, "Oh, I just messed up my whole life, wasting it with that person for 18 years, only to have to start all over." That wasn't a waste.
Yeah.
Because I believe that your purpose is connected to something that you almost died trying to get out of.
Yeah.
Because it gives you that passion that is necessary to withstand every storm and trial. It's called purpose and passion, baby. You can't pay for it.
No, I couldn't agree more. And after your divorce, correct me if I'm wrong, but you moved back in with your parents, with your children.
Yes,
At the
I moved
time,
back in.
you felt like a failure for a little bit at the time?
Craig, I bet you for, let's say I was 36, I was an interior designer, I was banking, um, did phenomenal in Orlando. And after this marriage ended, it was like it almost took my breath. It literally, I thought I was never going to get up. I was like, I love this man's guts. I had 2 kids with this man. We were just toxic. We were just so toxic together. And it just was not going to ever work. And I moved back in with my mom and dad, which was the biggest ego blow on the planet because I was in special ed my whole life. I was raised in a religion that said women really couldn't do nothing but have babies. And I'm out here killing the game. And now I lost it all because I believed in somebody longer. I kept taking medicine to somebody that liked being sick. And here I was having to move back in with my mom and daddy. And Craig, I thought I was going to lose my ever loving mind. I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to get out. Moving back in with my mama. Oh, I was devastated. I had this ego. I had built this world that was so prestigious. And in order for me to heal, I had to let go of it. A lot of times we think that an ending is the end, but a lot of times something has to end for something greater to begin.
Most of the time.
Yeah. And that's what I found, Craig. And I probably laid in depression for, man, a year.
Really?
And then finally, yeah, I ate Haagen-Dazs, got fat, cried, angry at everybody on the sun, under the sun for the storm I created. And then finally one day I was like, no, girl, you gotta get up. That's why my book's named You Gotta Get Up. You gotta get up. What are you waiting on? And I got up and I went and got me a job at Bloomingdale's putting makeup on people, making $13 an hour. And I realized that if I wouldn't have walked through that divorce, I would have never had to go get a job making $13 an hour in retail.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I actually started liking people because I hated people. I started really liking people at Bloomingdale's. I really realized I had a gift of getting people out of their pit. And if I wouldn't have walked through divorce, I'd have never known that. I started doing videos in my car and they went viral.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I got here.
That's awesome. And none of it is a coincidence, is it?
No, it's absolutely not. It is part of your plan. I always say before you were ever even a thought in your mother's womb, the doctors, when you came out of your mama, heard, wow, but the world, destiny, that your purpose, your destiny, heaven, they heard you're a game changer, a person that won't quit. You got destiny inside of you. So yeah, it's part of the plan. It all works together. Romans 8:28 says God's working all things together for our good. Period. It always works out if you keep moving.
This is so good. There's so many cool things and nuggets and tangible and practical people can extract from your book. I get asked this all the time, and so I'm curious your answer. What is like the one thing that you really want to hammer home with somebody that grabs this beautiful vessel that is your book?
Man, that it ain't over. Like where you are right now is just a stepping stone. Like where you're at right now is the cusp of your greatest life. Like I promise you, like I money back guarantee on my book that if I'm lying, if you get up for 30 days and realize for 30 days I can do anything, you can lose 30 pounds in 30 days. You can literally change and shift your whole thinking in 30 days. You can literally move people from your VIP section of life and move them to the balcony and say, watch me from a distance. Because where I'm going, this is personal. I'm in the fourth quarter, man. Fourth quarter of 2023. This is personal. I'm getting up. This book, I hope, revolutionizes your thought pattern and allows your heart to soften and realize that you might be the black sheep of the family, but you coming out the goat. You coming out the goat. You mark my words. You wouldn't have come on this podcast with me and Craig by accident. This was all a divine appointment for us to tell you, you the goat. You the goat, baby.
You're awesome. I love you. Seriously.
Thank you, Craig. You too.
I don't mean just because your content's awesome and you're like there's a connection, and I'm so proud of you, and the work that you're doing is helping so many people. And I think this is the perfect book at the perfect time. I imagine that's also by divine appointment.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Real quickly, I just ask you this. How is the book writing process for you?
You know, for me, I always said I'm never gonna write a book because I still don't even know where commas go, Craig. Like I have millions of followers and I'm like, I don't know how y'all read my stuff because it's like I talk like I write. Like I write like I talk. Like I'm so excited that I don't have no commas anywhere. But the good thing about writing is that this is why I'm in such a good place, you know, at 51. Like I lost everything at 36. Moved back in with my mom and daddy at 36. Couldn't buy cheese with my credit. At 40 years old, I preached my first sermon. 42, I wrote my first book. At 44, I started my 45. I started my podcast that is now syndicated everywhere. You know, I've written 5 books in the last 11 years. And so I realized that I thought my life was over, but at 51, I realized it's just beginning. And so, yeah, it's just, it's that thing that you got to have light on the inside of your being. And you got to tell yourself, man, as long as I ain't dead, I ain't done. And I'm going to fight and I'm going to be a champion. And my kids are going to be so proud of me because I could have given up, but I got up. Conquer hell in heels. Conquer hell in your combat boots. Just conquer hell.
I love it. And I love what you said before, and I want to emphasize that. Instead of dying for your kids, how about you live for them? What a paradox. Beautiful.
You know, my kids, I remember when I was living with my mom and dad, my kids.
That's actually one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I'm not a dad yet. I'm engaged.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to be God willing, but that's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Like be the best. Break generational curses. Those kids are resilient. My kids saw a lot of junk, y'all. And now they both work with me in ministry. They're so proud of their mama. But they could still be watching me struggle. They could watch me angry, bitter, yelling, screaming. They get a happy mama because I got healed.
So good. This is awesome. I think I know the answer to this, probably pretty obvious, but our audience and community is so loyal and engaging. What's the best way for them to support you? I know what you're most excited about right now. Where's the best place for them to all grab the book and keep up and so forth?
Y'all look, let me just show y'all this. Go get my book. You got to get up. And you can get it anywhere books are sold. Amazon. I even went in the studio and read it to you guys. You can get the audio on Amazon.
Is that out
You can
yet?
even, yes, it went out. It came out last week.
Awesome.
Yep, 6 days ago. So you can also go to my website, realtalkkim.com, and get all my material as well.
The audio book, ours actually drops next week. It was pretty demanding process.
I thought I never got it in this little bitty cubicle
Yep.
for 6 hours for 3 days, but I did it. I did it.
I love it.
You read yours too?
Yeah, I did. It drops next week. I had it all day full to bang it out in 2 days, and I did. But after that, I feel like I've almost like my throat kind
I
of.
did too in 2 days. My book went bestseller on audio, so people love the author reading it.
Yeah, that was important for me as well.
Smart move. Smart move.
Thank you. Hang out for 1 second.
Proud of you.
Thank you. I want to connect with you after. Kim, I want you to know the definition of being in alignment, getting up, and being an injection of hope. I could personally guarantee your best yet to come. Keep on spreading your wings and leaving your mark on this world. So much love and respect for you. Thank you so much for stopping by and dropping these priceless, juicy nuggets today.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, that was unbelievable. Thank you.
You know what, Craig? I am so sorry that I was late. Please forgive me. I promise you, I am such a stickler with time.
Yeah, all good.
Forgive me. Forgive me.
Forgiven.
And I'm doing it in my car. I ain't done one interview in my car.
I know. But to be honest with you, I don't think it could have gone better. It was actually,
it was really good. Very organic.
Yeah, I would love to stay connected with you and do many more things. Our community is growing. Can we exchange numbers?
Yes. Will you do me a favor, Craig? Will you write my number down and then text me so I can store you?
I'm going to text you right now.